In the world of the NBA, few discussions spark as much controversy and division as the debate over who is the greatest player of all time. Michael Jordan, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Magic Johnson, Kobe Bryant, and of course, LeBron James always appear in the conversation. However, what happened in 2018 fueled that eternal discussion even more. During an episode of The Shop, the talk show that LeBron James produces and hosts, the King himself stated that he considered himself the greatest player of all time. He justified this declaration by recalling what he believes was the biggest moment of his career: the historic comeback in the 2016 finals. That year, with the Cleveland Cavaliers, he did the unthinkable, coming back from a 3-1 deficit against the Golden State Warriors, a team that had set the record with 73 wins in the regular season. LeBron explained that after winning that championship, he felt on the absolute top of basketball. And while for many, his words were a reflection of confidence and self-belief, for others it was exactly the opposite, an unnecessary act of ego that went against the unwritten code of respect among the game's greatest legends. One of the first to respond was none other than Isiah Thomas, one of the most emblematic figures of the 1980s. A two-time NBA champion with the Bad Boys Detroit Pistons and a Hall of Famer, Thomas knows firsthand what it means to compete at the highest level against legends such as Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, and Michael Jordan. And he didn't hesitate to give his opinion. In an episode of Players Only, Thomas made it clear that while he deeply respects LeBron's greatness, he completely disagreed with him proclaiming himself as the best ever. In his own words, he said, "Everybody knows I love LeBron, but I've got to call a timeout. I've never heard Michael Jordan say he's the greatest of all time, nor Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. That kind of greatness requires humility, a direct, firm, and meaningful message. And if there's anyone who understands what he's talking about, it's Isiah Thomas. He was a witness and a protagonist in an era where rivalries were fierce, and where the greats didn't need to declare themselves as such. It was the others, the rivals, the media, the fans, who placed them at the top. But Thomas didn't stop there. He went even further, saying that if he were playing today and heard someone proclaim themselves as the greatest ever, he would take it as a personal offense. If I were in the league and someone said they were the greatest of all time, I'd get ready to go at them. To me, that's disrespectful to your competitors." Those words reflect the mentality of the Bad Boys: tough, competitive, and fearless. Let's not forget that Thomas led Detroit to back-to-back championships in 1989 and 1990, defeating historic teams like Bird's Celtics, Magic's Lakers, Jordan's Bulls, and Clyde Drexler's Trailblazers. His legacy was built on constantly battling giants and never taking anything for granted. Here's where the big contrast with LeBron James appears. His legacy is filled with countless historic moments, but none more iconic than the 2016 finals. In that series, LeBron averaged nearly a triple-double with 29.7 points, 11.3 rebounds, and 8.9 assists per game, and delivered the most famous play of his career, the legendary block on Andre Iguodala in Game 7. That championship cemented him as one of the all-time greats, but for figures like Thomas, true greatness should be validated through humility, not self-declarations. If we compare, an interesting pattern emerges. Michael Jordan, with 6 championships, 6 Finals MVPs, and 5 League MVPs, never called himself the best. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, with 6 championships, 6 MVPs, and retiring as the all-time leading scorer, never did either. For them, and for many from that generation, true greatness is recognized by others, not self-proclaimed. The truth is, the debate about the GOAT will never have a definitive answer. Each generation has its own hero, and each fan passionately defends their idol. Jordan represents competitive perfection, Kareem absolute consistency, and LeBron unmatched versatility and longevity. Maybe, as Isiah Thomas said, the key is not about who proclaims themselves the best, but how history and other players ultimately recognize you. In the end, that's the real essence of the NBA, a legacy that transcends eras and keeps the conversation alive season after season. And now I want to hear from you. Do you think Isiah Thomas was right to criticize LeBron, or do you believe the King was right to call himself the greatest of all time? Let us know in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe to NBA Word for more exclusive content about the legends and the stories that shape this league.